want to welcome in the head of the. I actually got multiple people responding about Barbara Norton, and thank you also.
It's a new trending story.
Yeah, it's well, that's why if we had it in top stories, it should have been in trending. Hurricane Chris is more than a decade ago. Not Hurricane Chris. Chris Meyer is our guest now. Welcome aboard. How are you?
I'm good, Brian. Good to see you.
How's the new gig going? I'm still calling it the new gig. How's the new gig going?
Yeah, no, it's I'm a year in, and it's been a fantastic journey over this last year. We've at the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, we had over 300 community meetings and community conversations this last year. It's really just been a gift to listen, an opportunity to kind of reflect on where we as the foundation have come from, and now to sort of chart a bold path forward.
What does that path forward look like? What's next for y'all?
Yeah, look, I think ultimately our job as a community is to leave this place better than we found it. And what we've really organized around.
You had me at leave this place.
No,
I'm sorry.
Brian,
I'm in a weird mood today.
Right, look, we're gonna work on you.
To my career today.
No, we're gonna work on you. Look, I think we love Baton Rouge. We want Baton Rouge to be the best version of itself. And I think what the foundation's done over its 59-year history has focused on collective giving, collective philanthropy, and impact, changing outcomes in our community. And so what we really are crystallizing now at the foundation in our next chapter of impact is how do we spread more opportunity across our community? That looks like strong and safe neighborhoods. That looks like excellent education for every kid, economic prosperity, regional resiliency, and go down the list. But this is what we're really focused on as a foundation going forward.
The I got a press release from what was this? A little over a month ago, maybe, talking about the new strategic framework.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit more granular about what those different things are, because lofty goals are lofty goals.
Sure.
It's where the rubber meets the road that we tend to run into problems here in Baton Rouge, and that's where y'all stay on the story, but then the news cycle moves on and y'all keep grinding. Those safe neighborhoods.
Yeah.
There's been a very intentional effort very recently with Safe BR. Baton Rouge Area Foundation's been active in Safe BR, and I'm guessing will continue to be. The first marker of this is the Paige Rice Camera Initiative.
That's right.
And this thing is right at the blocks, showing, I don't want to say success because you can't measure success this quickly, but it's showing receptiveness, to be sure. And a big part of its success is going to be the community buy-in, and that's what we're seeing.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, look, where the rubber meets the road for us, and we'll talk more about this, but tonight we're announcing community impact funds. These community and civic impact funds are really designed to help donors of any level help our community focus on big challenges and advance real goals to getting them done. So in this community safety fund, one of our first civic impact funds we're announcing, it really is about Safe BR. And in Safe BR, this is a coalition of businesses, nonprofit leaders, government leaders, everyday citizens coming together to say, we all have a part in making our community safer. Sure, government is responsible for the law enforcement aspect, but we can all do our part. And what you've seen specifically in this Paige Rice Camera Initiative is you've already seen some actionable intelligence. We've been able to place over 50 cameras in high-need areas identified by the police. We've raised over $250,000 specifically in that initiative. And you've got more and more people signing up every day, whether they want to donate a camera, whether they want to sort of raise their hand and say, look, this is an area where if we had cameras, we think we could catch the perpetrators.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see real results from this. We know we already have, and I'm sure you're going to hear some news in the coming days about how we've already used some of these cameras in unfortunate incidences.
The thing about the Paige Rice Camera Initiative is that it's an easy buy-in. And there's not... You're installing a camera and running it back to the real-time crime center.
That's right.
Which, by the way, so the chief comes on once a month. He was actually in Tuesday. And he loves his real-time crime center, and he loves every opportunity to brag on it. And it long-term, it's going to be effective. There are still outliers, but he likes to narrow in on people and places. People and places. You'll hear him repeat that all the time because that's what you need to focus on. I don't want to... Every time I talk about it, I run the risk of walking down the Moneyball path. But it's analytics, right?
It absolutely is. And look, I think this is what Safe BR, it's both a focus on resources for law enforcement, around those areas that we have real focus and what's going to stem the tide now of violent crime. But it's also looking at the long run, right? What are investments we can start making now so that we don't have youth sort of going off the path? And how do we hold the entire judicial system accountable for results? So when the police do their job, let's make sure we're also supporting our judges so that they're able to do their job more effectively, more efficiently. And so there's a lot in this initiative that, again, we want to get behind solutions that are actionable to make our community safer.
Chris Meyer with Baton Rouge Area Foundation is our guest. So you've mentioned a couple of things. We've got three on our plate right now, okay? The community impact, the youth going off the path, and the judicial accountability. We tend to have a bad habit in Baton Rouge of looking at any one of those things and saying it's not going to solve everything, so we throw it all away. How do we stay on the path of that all-encompassing plan?
Yeah, look, I mean, this really is, I think, the history of the Baton Rouge Area Foundation and why I'm so excited to be part of this team. We have the ability to focus on big goals and big projects over a long time horizon. We've done that with downtown. We've done that when we've looked at those with, crisis incidents at our Bridge Center, for example. We did that in my old role at New Schools for Baton Rouge, where we focus on creating better options for kids in education. This specifically is one that we've made with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, our government leaders, Hiller Moore, the chief, the sheriff, the mayor. We've made commitments for the next 3 years that we're going to go deep into these areas, the three we mentioned, more resources for law enforcement, support in our communities. So we're working on the long and root causes of violent crime, and accountability and transparency, specifically in the judicial system. So we are uplifting the kinds of changes we need. This isn't a flash in the pan, and that's the reality. If you want to make big change, you've got to stay with it.
No, absolutely. 100% on point with that. We're talking with Chris Meyer from the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. So let's get back into this week. You said it's membership week. What else does that entail, and what's coming up, let's say tonight?
Tonight, look, this has been an exciting week for us. We had our first ever membership week where we invited in, we've got over 500 members this year at the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, plus our fund holders. On Monday, we kicked off visiting nonprofits across our community, specifically those that were recognized last year as our Barton Award winners. These are excellent nonprofits in our community. We took a tour of the Real-Time Crime Center you just mentioned to sort of focus in on the civic challenges and civic impact we can have by working more closely with our law enforcement officials. Last night, we hosted a Young Professionals Happy Hour over at Oxbow Distillery and heard about that story, which is really, really unique, and you should have Olivia on exactly. Yeah, it's a great story of again, people coming back, Olivia coming back to our community, investing in our community, and creating culture, something that we pride ourselves on.
I have a Foodie Friday segment. I would love to have a Boozy Friday segment. I mean, day drinking
a little early.
We are on till 9.
Okay.
I don't have to start drinking till like 8:30.
Maybe tomorrow you might be justified.
By 8:30, I have to start drinking, though.
So let me tell you about tonight. Tonight is the culmination of our membership week, which is our annual meeting. And this really is a celebration, again, of the impact of the foundation and how we together as a community can focus on big challenges and big solutions. Tonight, speaking of kind of big challenges and big solutions, we're welcoming in Mitch Landrieu, who is the senior advisor to the president on infrastructure, and Congressman Garrett Graves, to have a conversation about the future in Louisiana, specifically with unprecedented resources coming to our community. Again, you're probably not going to see a conversation like this in many places, but we're an organization and a place and a community where I think we can be solution-oriented and focused on Louisiana's opportunities.
Between Mitch Landrieu and Garrett Graves?
Absolutely.
That is a pairing I would not expect at all.
So, they
when
actually
you stop and think about it, though, those are both guys who are willing to talk to whoever can help move the ball down the field.
And if you look at their history, I mean, they actually became close after Hurricane Katrina. And these have been guys that have been focused on Louisiana and Louisiana's recovery opportunities. So if you think about both Katrina and now, with the billions of dollars coming into our state because of this bill, whether you like the bill or not, regardless, money is available for Louisiana. What are we going to do to make sure we use the moment right and we don't see our dollars go to Texas or to Florida, that we can take advantage?
You mentioned Mitch Landrieu, and it's easy to get all political when you hear the name Landrieu. And I understand if their mind immediately goes to that. But we were down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras a couple weeks ago, and we're standing there on St. Charles. And I'm like, St. Charles is still paved. So is Carrollton. And Mitch Landrieu, as the mayor of New Orleans, paved St. Charles and Carrollton. And that was a big deal for New Orleans to get two decently paved roads. But I want to step away from that to make this point. It's having a focused goal and accomplishing that goal. I know paving a road doesn't sound like a big deal, but in New Orleans it kind of is. He had that on his mind. He did that. He accomplished that, and it remains today.
These are two leaders, and like all of us and I think like all of your listeners, we love this place.
Mm-hmm.
We can be focused. We can achieve big things. We've done it before, and now we've got to do it again. And our problems are real, and we need to own those. But I think this opportunity, specifically in the infrastructure realm, is unprecedented for us. And we literally are the only ones that care about our coast and the only ones that are thinking about our safety locally.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to take responsibility. And as long as I'm at the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, that's what we're going to be focused on.
He is Chris Meyer from the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. I know I tell you this every time you're on. You don't come on enough. So we need to start texting
All
back.
right, we're going to make this happen more often, especially in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, I appreciate the time this morning, but we're just straight up out of time. So let's set up another time to come on, maybe recap the meeting in the very near future. But good stuff, and I'd love to see the city moving forward.
Good to see you. Go to safebr.org to learn more about the safety initiative.